All right, let's talk about how to make an explainer video that people actually want to watch. One that doesn't just throw information at you, but really pulls you in and makes you stick around.
I mean, you know the feeling, right? You click on a video and suddenly, poof, 5 minutes are gone. You've learned something cool and it didn't even feel like work. How do they do that? What's their secret?
Well, here's the thing. It's not magic, and it's definitely not luck. It's a formula, a really smart mix of, believe it or not, the science of how we learn and a super solid production plan. And that's exactly what we're going to break down today. Okay, so the science part, a lot of it comes from this brilliant researcher named Richard Mayer. And his first big idea, the multimedia principle, is basically the bedrock of all of this. It's so simple, but so powerful. Our brains just learn way better when we get words and pictures together, instead of just words alone. It's just how we're wired. And hey, make sure you stick around, because a little later, I'm going to share the real secret sauce. It's this one little trick that the biggest creators use to get you to watch till the very end. I promise, it's a good one, and I'll tell you what it is before we wrap up. All right, let's dive into phase one, the blueprint. Think of it like building a house. You wouldn't just start nailing boards together, right? No, you need a plan. A great video is exactly the same. It's won or lost long before you ever hit record. And the very first part of that plan is your script. This ties right back to another one of Mayer's principles, the pre-training principle. Basically, a good script is like giving your viewer a little map of what's coming. It gets their brain ready and warmed up to actually soak in all the info you're about to give them. So what does a good script look like? Well, this 5-step YouTube template is pure gold. First, you need a killer hook to grab them in the first few seconds. Then a quick intro to say, here's what we're doing. After that, you get into the main content, the meat of it. Then you hit them with a bonus, a little something extra they weren't expecting. And you always finish with a clear call to action, the CTA telling them what you want them to do next. Okay, script's done. Now it's time to think about what people are actually going to see. And I need to say this loud and clear. You do not have to be an artist to make a storyboard. Seriously. Stick figures are totally fine. The point isn't to make art. It's just to map out your visuals against your script. And look at this. It's a perfect example. On one side, you've got a super simple hand-drawn sketch. On the other, something a bit more polished and digital. Guess what? They both do the exact same job. They help you plan your shots and make sure your story makes sense visually. All right, blueprint is locked in. Now we get to the fun part. Phase 2, the performance. This is where you actually breathe life into that script. It's all about your delivery. And you guessed it, the science is right there with us. Mayer's personalization principle is all about this. It proves we learn so much better when someone is talking to us like a real person in a conversational way, not like a robot reading a textbook. People connect with other people, you know? Your delivery is just as critical as what you're actually saying. So, how do you nail that tone? Couple of quick tips. 1, use your real, friendly voice. Don't be monotone, speed up, slow down, keep it interesting. 2, and this is a pro tip, go into what they call panto mode. That means bringing like 120% of your normal energy. It feels a little weird, I know, but the camera just sucks energy away, so you gotta overdo it a bit. And the easiest tip of all, smile when you talk. It actually changes the tone of your voice and makes you sound way more approachable. And your setup, super important. Get a decent microphone, it makes a huge difference. Find a quiet room, preferably one with stuff like carpets or curtains to kill any echo. For the camera, make sure it's at eye level and your main light is hitting you from the front. Oh, and your background? Keep it simple. That's another principle, the coherence principle. A messy background is distracting. If it doesn't help tell the story, get it out of the shot. Okay, on to our final phase, the polish. You've planned, you've performed, and now it's time for the magic of editing. This is where you take all that raw material and turn it from good into wow. But let's be honest, what's the biggest problem with a lot of these videos? It's the dreaded talking head. I don't care how engaging you are, nobody wants to stare at the same shot of your face for 5 minutes straight. It gets boring. So how do we fix it? The answer is B-roll. B-roll is your secret weapon. It's all the other stuff you cut away to. Video clips, pictures, animations, anything that shows what you're talking about. It breaks things up visually and keeps people's eyes moving and engaged. It's absolutely crucial. And while we're talking about visuals, we have to talk about the redundancy principle. Here's the deal. Showing a graphic while you talk about it, great. That's the multimedia principle we talked about. But showing a graphic, talking about it, and having a ton of text on screen that says the exact same thing you're saying, that's bad. It's overload for the brain. So trust your narration. You don't need to write out your whole script on the screen. Now, one more really, really important part of the final polish, accessibility. And let me be clear, this is not just some optional extra. It is absolutely essential if you want to create content that everyone can enjoy and learn from. And a huge piece of that is just basic visual clarity. I mean, just look at the difference here. Trying to read that low contrast text is a nightmare, right? But the high contrast version, it's clear, it's easy, it's such a simple thing to check, but it makes a world of difference, especially for anyone with a visual impairment. So here's your quick and easy accessibility checklist. Number 1, always add accurate captions or subtitles. 2, if you can, provide a full transcript. 3, for any text on screen, use clean, easy-to-read fonts. Sans serif fonts are your friend here. And 4, like we just saw, double-check that color contrast. All right, so we've gone through the whole process, the blueprint, the performance, and the final polish. But I made you a promise at the beginning, didn't I? It's time to talk about that secret sauce. Here it is, the secret to incredible watch time. It's called opening loops. It's so simple. Remember how, way back at the start, I said, stick around and I'll share the secret sauce? That was me opening a loop. You create a question or a promise in the viewer's mind, and their brain just has to stick around to get the answer, to close the loop. It's a powerful, powerful tool. So, let's wrap this all up. The whole formula boils down to these 3 phases. 1, the blueprint. Get that script and storyboard right first. 2, the performance. Bring the energy and get your text set up correctly. And 3, the final polish. That's where you edit in great B-roll and make sure it's accessible to everyone. So there you have it. That's the roadmap. It's the science. It's the process. You have the formula now. So the only real question left is, what story are you going to tell first?